This was more than a job. I took to driving a night bus along the stretches of desolate Route 66. Tumbleweed-lined turns, shuttered gas stations, ghost towns you could cross in a minute. Alone from midnight until dawn. When dispatch offered me the night shift, I thought I'd get to know the highway stories. I never expected it would give me some of its own. Every driver gets rules. But the ones I received were rules to survive. It was Memorial Day weekend when I saw the sign. Need night bus driver, Route 66 Express. No experience needed. Start at 11 p.m. Cash paid at shift's end. I showed up at the old terminal at 10:45 p.m. A rusting sign, flickering neon reading 66 Express. No dispatcher, just a clipboard and a passenger manifesto slapped in my hand. Under paperwork, a folded card labeled Night Shift Rules. Must memorize. The rules. Inside the card, printed all caps in typewriter font. Rule number 1. Do not stop the bus between exits numbered 13 and 17, even if there's a hitchhiker, breakdown, or crash. Rule number 2. Between 12 o'clock and 1 a.m., do not use the CB radio, no matter what voice calls you. Rule number 3. Always keep headlights on low beam past mile marker 22. High beams will attract them. Rule number 4. If a passenger boards at mile marker 27, do not let them ride past the Oak Ridge turnoff. Rule number 5. At 2:22 a.m., pull over at the diner stop. Even if no passengers ask, just stop, wait 1 minute, then resume. Rule number 6. If the engine stalls after mile marker 33, do not attempt to restart immediately. Turn off everything and wait 3 engine chimes. Rule number 7. When you reach Springfield exit at 4 a.m., switch routes exactly, do not drive past it. At the bottom, break a rule and the highway collects. At 11 p.m., shift starts. I climbed aboard the bus at exactly 11 p.m. The engine hummed deeply. Fog rolled across the windshield in plain sight. This was unusual so early, even for desert nights. The road ahead faded into darkness. Mile marker 10 passed. I checked each mirror, seat, aisle. Empty. At 11:30 p.m. Passing mile marker 13, something flickered off route by the desert brush. An outline. A tall silhouette. I slowed, but Rule 1 screamed in my head. No stops between 13 and 17. That area has legends. Hitchhikers who vanish, broken cars turned to tombstones. My grip tightened on the wheel. I didn't look back. At 12 a.m. The CB crackled with static, then a voice whispered, "Driver, can you hear me?" It sounded like my father's voice. But Rule 2, no radio between 12 to 1 a.m. I reached to switch it off, but my fingers froze. The voice continued, "We miss you." The volume dropped. Then silence. When I looked down, the CB was dead. At 12:25 a.m. As mile marker 22 approached, I flicked headlights to low beam. The high beams had caught movement, shadows shifting along the curves. Once I dimmed them, the highway opened back into emptiness. No dust. No footprints. At 12:40 a.m. As I climbed a long stretch, I stopped at mile marker 27. No reason, but the front doors hissed open. A pale figure stepped aboard. Rule 4. Don't let any passenger ride past Oak Ridge turnoff. She thanked me softly and asked for Oak Ridge. I nodded, stared straight ahead. When the turnoff came, she disappeared. Feet gone. Handrails bouncing. The seat was empty. At 1 a.m. Approaching the roadside diner at mile marker 32. The giant neon grin Bell's Diner flickered. Empty lot, but per Rule 5 I pulled over. 1 minute. No customers. But inside the dark diner, a booth flickered, someone behind the glass. I waited. 1 minute, then rolled on. At 1:30 a.m. Halfway down the next leg, the engine sputtered around mile marker 33. It cut silent. Rule 6. Do not restart, wait 3 chimes. My phone chimed as verse on radio once, but I counted chimes. Once, twice, 3. Engine restarted on its own. No alert lights. No messages. At 2:15 a.m. the CB crackled again. Oh, far. Help me get off, driver? I choked and turned it off mid-whisper. Silence swallowed it. At 2:21 a.m. approaching mile marker 35 now. Red dunes shimmered in headlights. The road stretched silent again. No bathroom stops. No hitchhikers. Mile marker 36. Then beep. CB buzzed automated. Next stop, Oak Ridge turnoff. I shuddered. At 2:22 a.m. I pulled into Bell's for exactly 1 minute, even though the diner looked like a ghost set of dusty tables and chipped paint. Inside the window, a shadow leaned close, bent unnaturally at the waist, one flat hand on the glass. The eyes, white empty. I waited the minute. No door opened. No noise. I closed it off and left. At 3 a.m. I headed into open stretch mile 41. Silence. Then fog rolled hard across headlights. From the mist, a convoy of black cars. No lights, engines off, just silhouettes drifting beside the bus. They matched my speed. Slowly. Voices whispered from outside, they called names. Children, fathers, mothers. I snapped off CB again. At 3:30 a.m. Miles 45 to 46. The road narrowed, chip seal crumbling. A sign, welcome to Oak Ridge, next exit. Rule 7. Exit exactly at 4 a.m., Springfield exit. But Oak Ridge is just before it. My stomach seethed. This test is coming. At 3:45 a.m. At mile 49 I slowed to a stop, for no reason. A figure appeared, looking tired, battered. He climbed on. I drove on. He didn't speak, didn't breath. When Springfield exit came at 3:59 a.m., I passed it. He remained silent. But at 4:00 a.m., I blanked. Final minute, Rule 7 break. Instead of switching routes at Springfield exit at 4 a.m., I drove past it. The fog thickened. The bus headlights flickered off again. Silhouettes pressed near the windows. I heard familiar names. The CB crackled, "You're late, driver." The road ended in a cul-de-sac. I stepped off the bus. Not moving. No breath. They closed in. I walked home this morning. The road behind me was silent. My phone's time read 4:43 a.m. I'm home. I'm safe. But I see faces in rearview mirrors now. Whispers in the static. And I know, sooner or later I'll have to drive this road again. At 11:45 p.m. Shortly before mile 15, I passed a long-closed gas station. Its neon sign flickered twice, then died. In the corner of the lot, a lone figure in coveralls stood beside a 1950s sedan, gas nozzle in hand, hovering. Rule 1. Don't stop between exits 13 and 17. I kept going. 50 yards later, I saw the same sedan, now following me at 50 yards. No flashes, no headlights. I sped up, still tailing. A block later, the lot was empty. No human, no car. Silence. At 12:10 a.m. At mile marker 20, I passed a cluster of boarded storefronts. Francis's General Store, Oscar's Grill, Route 66 Motel. You can usually see at least one open door from memory. Tonight, all doors were propped open, warm light spilling out. But no sign of life. I slowed. Inside the store window, a mannequin figure waving. A faint sound, radio static playing old tunes. Rule 3 had meant to keep my hands steady. I slid by. At 12:35 a.m., a side road joined at mile marker 22. As I approached, headlights reflected on the empty pavement. A silhouette in a white dress stood in the intersection. She raised her arm, beckoning. The CB hissed, "Join her?" I hit the accelerator, visibility bricked in sudden fog. When it cleared, she disappeared. The intersection looked older, like original route alignment patchwork. At 1:10 a.m., passing mile marker 24, the bus headlights caught movement behind me on the shoulder. A row of identical broken-down buses, dust-coated, rusted, all numbered driver 01, driver 02, up to driver 20. They stood in a silent row like tombstones, passenger doors open, empty seats dimly lit. I flinched, stepped on CB. They ride again? I drove past fast. When I checked the mirror at mile 25, the dead fleet was gone. At 1:40 a.m., static merging into chance again. We drove past mile 27, we ran the curve, we boarded near Oak Ridge, we couldn't stop, we ride. Voices crescendo. Rule 4's reprisal. Do not open your CB, especially now. My fingers hovered above the dial, then I flicked it off. At 2 a.m. At mile 32 in the Bell's Diner window, the booth figure repeats. This time he's joined by others. A woman with empty sockets, a man in a 60s suit. Each faces the window. As I stepped inside, no patrons, no music. A wait staff printing old menus. Special, meatloaf 79 cent, dated 1974. I waited well past a minute, stepping out quickly. Outside, tire tracks embedded in dust. Old bus treads, as though another convoy just pulled out. At 2:30 a.m., mile marker 28, a side route runs into Oak Ridge Ghost Town. Headlights caught the outline of a theater marquee, faded, the black limousine. Beyond it, a crowd stood frozen on the sidewalk, film extras in vintage garb. They stared at the bus as I passed a 15 miles per hour sign, then gaslit dim into darkness. At 2:50 a.m., the mile markers themselves begin to skip. 24 jumps to 27, then 27 back to 23. The road curves in impossible loops. I punched the CB. Where's Oak Ridge? Where's mile 33? Static answers, you don't follow us. We follow you. At 3:15 a.m., I stop at mile marker 27. The bus doors hiss open. Again, phantom passengers board. Old man with hat, woman with hollow eyes, a child giggling, but stepping aboard they dissolve in mid-stride. Seats clatter empty, a loose board creaks once, twice. I step off in case they vanish through floors. At 3:30 a.m., signs flip mid-drive. Springfield exit, 0.5 miles, then change. No exit, full stop ahead. The sky dims to blood orange. Mile marker 33 appears. Last safe zone, yet ahead, tumbleweed drifts dead center. CB buzzes, end of route. No end. At 3:45 a.m., the chanting returns, we are the lost drivers. We are, you. Static pulses. All CB lights flash red. Map ripples on the GPS. No standard grid, ghost lines appear, route folding in on itself. At 3:58 a.m., the Springfield exit looms. I'm supposed to leave exactly at 4 a.m. The hooded figure I spotted earlier stands silently at the exit sign. At 3:59 a.m., doors hiss open as if beckoning me. CB bleats, we're boarding now. Rule 7 rings in my head, but panic grips me. Final moment before end. I accelerate past the exit, screech of tires on gravel. Fog billows from nowhere. Bus lurches. The front mirror reflects dozens of pale faces pressed to the glass, eyes wide, mouths frozen. I slam brakes. The CB blasts, driver late. Rule final broken. At 3:58 a.m. I throttled past the Springfield exit, when I had sworn I'd stop. Fog swirls, headlights bathe indistinct nothingness. The road stretches again, to mile marker 11. I blink, but the markers count backward, forward, looping. Every mile feels the same, dust, shadow, abandoned exit signs. CB crackles. Start again, driver, we wait. I glimpse the dead fleet ahead, row after row of rusted buses, their lights flickering, each numbered after past drivers before me. At 4:05 a.m. The bus dashboard flickers with ghostly static. Driver on air, now boarding, passengers, lost souls. A loop chant plays on CB, we ride, till dawn. I realize this is no transport anymore. It's a ride show. My reflection on the mirror split-screened, two images, me and a hollow-eyed host discovered in the rear view. At 4:15 a.m. Along the shoulder I pass silhouette passengers. They climb aboard, molded from flickering light. A little girl in a dress. An old man fedora tipped. A mother clutching her baby. They stand still, faceless torsos. Doors slam shut by themselves. The bus moves again. At 4:30 a.m. I reach a phantom diner, where the shadow waitstaff slip under tables. A chalkboard reads today's menu, tonight's special, driver chalked in shaky script. Dishes spin on counter like carousel. No footsteps. When I exit, footprints appear where I stand, vanishing into nothing. At 4:45 a.m. The GPS vanishes. A new map crawls the screen. Circling loops, dead ends, intersections that fold into themselves. No exit, no end. Digital voice narrates. Next stop, your fate. At 4:55 a.m. CB no longer external, it's inside me. You are the collector. You are the passenger. You are the driver. Every mile felt more real than memory. Ghost voices whisper my name. They know me. At 5 a.m. I pull over at what should be mile marker 33. A sign reads, Driver's Grave, Final Stop. I exit the bus and look back. The fleet is lined behind me, headlamps dead. They shimmer to life, a slow wave of headlights. They vanish. Inside the bus display, my face host-like, as though I'm broadcasting from some eternal highway limbo. Driver to passengers. The seat beside me is occupied by a shapeless passenger. The CB voice cracks. Now driving, forever. Asterisk, I don't know how the sun rose. I don't know if it did. I don't sleep. Every night at 3:58 a.m. The loop resets. Headlights flicker. The CB is live. And another driver, replaced with my face on the board.